Welcome to this episode of Extravagant Generosity, where we reflect on how the practice of generosity impacts our communities, touches our hearts, and works for a more just world. My name is Andrew Warner, Generosity Outreach Officer for the national setting of the United Church of Christ. Today, I want to think with you about the calendar for your annual campaign. I'm here beside my garden because the calendar of activities for a campaign can be compared to all the things that go into gardening. So much goes into a garden. I dream and plan what I want to grow. I clean up the beds and plant my seeds. I weed and water. I harvest the right vegetables. And then I clean up at the end of the season and maybe even build a new bed for the next season. Well, really my husband does all of that work, but I get to enjoy the fruits of that labor. Just as the garden requires more than just showing up to pick the vegetables, the work of your annual campaign begins long before the Sunday people return their pledge cards. The most effective stewardship work involves a 12-month plan. Every month, you can do things to cultivate generosity in your congregation, teaching about generosity, thanking donors for gifts, and communicating about the ways you change lives. But the months before your Pledge Sunday and the weeks after will be particularly busy. You could think of these months as the growing season of your annual campaign. During this season, you'll want to give attention to the tasks of organizing, educating, and celebrating. Plan for the leadership team of the annual campaign to work on these tasks: discussion and planning. In this step, you'll want to work on the case statement discussion, as that shapes all of your messaging about the campaign. Look for the leaders in your congregation to help identify those deepest hopes, enduring values, faithful risks, and heartfelt gratitude of the congregation. Explore with them how the congregation changes lives. Finalize plans. In this step, you'll want to complete the campaign calendar, giving special attention to educating the congregation. Who can offer testimonials from the pulpit and worship? Who can write a letter for the beginning and end of the campaign? Who could write a newsletter article? Typically, these education activities will take place in the weeks before people turn in their pledge card. But the most effective campaigns will include an education or awareness activities all year round. So while you plan for testimonials in the weeks before people make their pledge, consider planning at least one testimonial for every month of the year. Leadership pledges turned in. In the month before Pledge Sunday, most of the congregation will be engaged in the education and awareness activities, but leadership will need to work on something else, their own personal commitments. We can't ask people to do what we're not willing to do ourselves. It's important for leaders and the pastor to make a pledge before asking the congregation to make one. Pledge Sunday and after. On the Sunday when people turn in their pledge cards, you want to ensure that worship celebrates generosity using language that speaks to a spirit of abundance instead of shaming language of scarcity. But what happens after someone pledges? Plan to send a handwritten thank you note to everyone who pledges. You don't have to know what someone pledged, just thank them for making a pledge. We always want to thank people for doing what we ask them to do. And this can be accomplished as a working meeting for your leadership team. And afterwards, people on your leadership team can call those who have not yet pledged with a reminder. And finally, debrief. Check in about the campaign to learn what worked and what could have gone better. Make sure that you record when pledges came in and the amounts so that you can compare this campaign to future ones. The process of reflecting on your campaign and recording when pledges came in can help you strengthen your campaign for the next year.